So while we're passing the closed guard, we always have to take into account that our opponent is going to be searching for opportunities to open their guard with the intent to sweep or submit. So in earlier videos, have been talking about passing the closed guard while we're on our knees because that keeps our center of gravity lower. The risk of off balancing and sweeps is a little bit lower, not totally mitigated, but like I said, just lower. And we were opening the guard on our terms when we wanted to. There's always going to be that time where the guard player is going to open first, trying to submit us. So we're going to look at how we can take advantage of that opening, getting our arms out to help us pass. In our first two videos that you see with us using our arms to frame the hips, you can always add any of these three passes to that guard opening. You get your guard open, you can knee slice like we did. You use that same guard opening, you could do a long step pass. Or the third option, you use that same opening and you can establish a double underpass. So keep that in the back of your mind while you guys are sparring, while you're training, that you can pick your opening and then pick your pass after. That is always part of how you can build your sequences. So checking this out from a more active guard player here. The key that we have with our hips is right now I'm very stable. My knees are on the mat. I'm sitting on my heels, so my center of gravity is low. I'm stable in all these areas. And I also got to think about how I can also use this posture right here as well, right? So when my opponent is starting to push and pull on my arms, right, I can feel like they're setting up triangles. I should always be working on kind of keeping my posture back. I don't want to be leaning too far forward in a case like this because it's very easy for my opponent to push and pull and shoot those hips up to me, right? Getting the hips close to my neck, right? That makes this a very challenging position. So if I go back, if I'm able to keep that level of self-awareness up that we're fighting in this position, and I feel that guard starting to open up as he punches, right? I got to be raising up my level. See how when I pick my hips up, I activate those glutes and those hips, I'm getting my neck further away from the hips. So that buys us an opportunity. If he's not securing that arm well enough, I should be focusing on ripping those elbows out. So the moment I feel that guard open up, I'm lifting my own hips, and my goal at these knee pits right here is to rip the elbows out. So we're in this position, right? He's trying to push and pull. He shoots that triangle, ripping the arm out and immediately dropping down low. What my goal is here is to make sure that I am shelving my opponent's hamstrings on my shoulders. And I want to be as low as I possibly can. So if I can make sure that my shoulders are low at the hamstrings by the glutes, I'm bringing my arms around, and my goal here is to gable grip or even tighter around the legs, right, with my elbows pinched in nice and tight. I don't want my opponent to be able to put those feet down on the mat. If he goes heavy legs, that puts a ton of pressure on my grips, right? So the lower I can get here, the more control I have over his hips. And my goal here is to start using my knees like a ramp, and I want to isolate Ian's hips by pulling him to me. Notice how I did not posture at all and my grips did not change. A very common thing that I see in the beginning is people will kind of just lift and posture here. If I lose control of those knees, he's going to replace his guard. I got to start all the way over again. So once I've gotten both of my arms outside the guard, I don't want to let him get him back. All right? This is a good position for me. So I start to pick up those hips. I'm pulling his hips into my lap first. Now from here, I'm going to go plank position. So see how I'm coming off my knees, my toes are on the mat, and my goal here is to drive his knees to his chest. I need full connection. My chest is flat, my hips are flat. Now, whatever side I want to pass to, if I want to pass to my right side, my right hand is going to come thumb in the lapel. I like to use my ratchet strap to take the slack out here, grabbing nice and tight. I have the blade of my wrist on his neck right there. I'm not going to finish a choke. It's just going to help me cook him. So I'm making sure his knees are driven to his chest. I'm taking my free hand. I'm going to go to the back right here. Just give him a little extra lift. Kind of keep him in this position. Now my goal is to get around the legs. So keeping my back and hips flat, I'm walking around that leg until that knee is on the side. When I'm ready, I can bring my chest up and use that to roll that leg in front to help me finish that pass. All while I can just be keeping some pressure right here on the carotid artery. Not going to choke him, but enough just to staple until I want to change to head control. So we want to be able to making sure we have that ability to increase our height in the defense of early triangles. If I feel like my arms are getting pushed and pulled on, he shoots that triangle. I gotta be shooting it out and dropping low, making sure I'm bringing his hips into my lap. Once I have him into the lap, now I'm gonna go plank position. Watch how I keep my back nice and straight, my hips straight. As I walk, right, I'm not turning my hips in any odd direction. I'm walking around. If anything, once I get to the side and I go behind the back, I'll start to drop my left hip with the intent of keeping it nice and strong, chest forward, head up to help me pass and solidify my position. Double under passes are classified under pressure passes, which means once we get to that position, make sure you take your time. That's a great opportunity if we focus on driving my opponent's knees to their chest, not their neck, not the mat to stack them on their neck, but if I drive their knees to their chest, right, take your time, cook your opponent, just walk around. They will more likely want to give you side control because they're just tired of carrying your weight the entire time.